Marcus, may the Schwartz be with you, hey? Here we go. You were talking, I'll move segue right along. Andrew, I hope you got something out of that. I'll keep bringing that back. You know I do. I tend to try and roll it all up. But Marcus, you've asked me about, you went and saw The Return of the Jedi and all that, and you're going about movie music. How the hell do they play along and all this sort of business? Well, what goes on is like if you're watching a thriller like Psycho or something like that, and just at the, like you get so far into the scene and all of a sudden, and all that sort of stuff happens. What happens is if it's really to the time code, okay. Now, let me put it into a metronomic kind of a thing. I did a show a couple of months ago about the importance of 120 beats per minute, which I've got here. There it is there. There it is there, okay? So I've already preset that at 120. Now, 120 beats a minute is half a second, 60 seconds in a minute. So what happens is when you're writing movie music, oftentimes what goes on is you're actually playing to a metronomic click that the composer has written to get to that point. So put it this way: if you've got if you're playing at 60 beats per minute, okay, on the metronome, and just for simplicity's sake, happens at the 60-second point, right? So what happens is that you it's 60 beats into the scene, okay? So you work out what the thrust is. Stabbing at 60 beats per minute or whatever, that kind of thing. And what's going on is that you work out, well, that's 60 beats. So if you're dealing in 4/4, okay, basically you divide it by 4 beats in the bar, right? So essentially what you have is 30, what have we got? 15, 15. So you get 30 bars, that kind of thing, you see. Oh, sorry, yeah, that's right. Oh, 15, that's right. Anyway, I got myself caught up on live TV, there you go. Or live Facebook, which will probably be in TV. Anyway, we'll see how we go. But basically what happens is you just do the math to that point. But sometimes it's a cue, and sometimes what goes on is that if you're dealing with a conductor, what often happens is the conductor is facing the screen and the orchestra is facing the conductor. So it's like, now, and bang, that kind of thing there. Now, I think, Marcus, that you might be asking me about my work with cartoons and all this sort of stuff. And yes, of course, what you do is when you're dealing with things like this where you are actually playing to a soundtrack, the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra are doing that all at the moment, and Suspiria, isn't that? That's one of the films that people are doing music to. There's a couple of different things. You can do ambience, like you can, just have, bum, 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 Jaws or whatever, and away you go. But then you've got the specific da-da-dum, dum, dum, like, oh, bum, or whatever, and you're off, that kind of thing there. Now, what happens with that is that you're right on. You've got to be with the click the whole time or whatever it might be, or with the conductor or however it works, or you're looking and you go. So you've got to have your wits about you, you see. So what happens when I do things like that, and I've got, the little bits and pieces off to the left and all that, and that kind of thing. So sometimes it's all discombobulated, And when I think about it, I mean, I love bands like Phantomas and stuff like that, Mike Patton and that kind of stuff. and it sounds really disjointed. Right? You know, things like that. But as soon as you see the visuals, now I get it. So some of the craziest music you'll ever hear is sometimes just watch a cartoon, you know, that kind of thing. Wait for The Rock to hit Wile E. Coyote, you know, that kind of thing. You know, whatever it might be, you know. So that's how that works, Marcus. It's got to do with conducting, the click, if you will. You know, it's all the different ways that you do stuff, you know, sort of thing. But generally, it's magic. There you go. So there's that. I sort of talked a little bit there about different things, but what happens is, yeah, you work the numbers and all that, and the numbers are magic, you know, that kind of thing there. And talking about numbers and all that, Stephen Tocci, you've asked me about Barracuda by heart. Dun, 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 ping, ping, bumper. Whoa, there you go. That's the rollicking, the rhythm of it. Funnily enough, when that first came out, I thought, did they rip off Achilles' Last Stand with that? But it's still a great song. There you go. So what happens is you've got Barracuda by Heart, one of their classics. It's off the Little Queen album in 1977. The drummer is Michael DeRosier. And the thing about that is that rollicking dun 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 dun. That's the main thing. That's fairly straightforward. But then you get into a breakdown. Now, last year, and back to you, Andrew, you were asking me about Carnival 9 with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And there's this rhythm, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. That kind of thing there. That's one of the middle sections of Heart. So it's got that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's 4 3s and 2 2s. A little bit Spanish in origin, sort of like a compass sort of thing. Oh, pardon me. America. There you go, with Lenny Bernstein. But what happens is this is 4 3s and 2 2s. So you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's got that, that's in the middle section. So you get that. So on like that. That's what happens there. And then there's another bit where there's a sneaky 7. Okay, 7 4. So it goes. So that's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing there. Gina la la ri da, Gina la la ri da, Gina la la ri da. Of course I was going to say her name. I mean, you can't get away. Can't get away with a Facebook Live without saying Gina's name. And there you go. And that's what happens. There's a little bit there for you, Stephen. Okay, so there's that. 3 little bits. Okay?